All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the December meeting of the Windsor Township Board of Supervisors. Before we start, I'd like to invite everybody to stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, first item on the agenda, would someone make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 13th meeting of the board?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, public comment. Mike Mahalman.
Good evening.
Did he say it correctly?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
What did you correct?
Go on, Russell, say it. You can do it.
Palinuk.
There it is. All right, I'd like to just get a little further understanding as far as the cement facility that is on the property across the street from us. I think obviously it's moving forward with things that I see occurring over there. I still have concerns of how certain things are being addressed, and I would just wonder if it appears to me that a large driveway has been established, and roughly this is about 60 feet from my driveway. And our vehicle is going to enter and exit from there versus the original proposed monument or 22 that I don't know this is being built for a specific reason. I mentioned this back in 2023, I think, when I first spoke regarding this. Just there's also cement slabs in there now that have been laid down. Previous to that, there was grading that was done that did not have any of those rolls, for wash off and stuff. I think one's been placed there since now on the property. But I was driving by today, the water was just streaming down that graded onto 22 as I was driving by on the way here. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's catching runoff or from that, but just is there a proposed driveway on that property is a different place as opposed to going out on Monument Road, where we'll be roughly 100 trucks in and out every day with that. Does anybody know what?
Well, H&K was never issued.
Yeah, H&K is still.
Go ahead, this is being done by the property owner.
Furnace Street.
This is Furnace Stream doing this.
Oh,
It's
it is?
it's his property.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't think anything, Ryan sent out a report here today of all the properties he's been working with over the last month, and there's nothing on that report addressing that property.
He did that.
So somehow that property is, seems to be flying under the radar or off the taboo list to touch.
Well, he was asked at the last meeting to go check it out.
Yes, because of the erosion control. Yeah.
And I drove past some old 22 here a week ago, and there's, as being described here, there's a lot of soil piled up there, moved, and not a little pile, a couple hundred feet in length and width, and that's what you're talking about. Concrete slabs are being laid on top now.
On top of that, they moved a ton of material, and this was out through the summer, and they were working late at night, and we were in a drought. They were creating, a
I'm
lot
not sure why that's
of dust.
gone unaddressed.
So those are things that dust ended up on house and car and so forth. Yes, we were also in a drought on top of it, but I never saw anything as far as erosion control set up. But again, now there's one roll laid out there, but I can't say it's doing anything.
It doesn't sound sufficient at all, sir.
No, that's why I drive by and watching the water was streaming down here.
Oh, no, our well was running dirty all fall once these
Yeah.
rains started to come. Our well's been running pretty dirty. Not a huge issue because it will clear after a day or so, but if it's gonna continue, that definitely becomes a problem.
And, part of that going back to one of the original discussions that they're going to be generating like 6,700 gallons of water per day from a well. And I was been in contact with R.M. Schaefer, who has put in our well. He's probably put in 80% of the wells around here throughout the years. And I'd asked them, what are the depths of the average wells in the area? And they're anywhere from 40 to 200 feet, depending where we are in the landscape from there. And I said, in your opinion, 6,700 gallons of well water per day, what does that do to the water table? And he goes, essentially, that's a potential problem, but again, I'm not putting them on the spot, I just asked them the question there. And I don't know if a company that runs a business should be tapping into, that well water levels and for this area. Is that safe, between the communities, the farmers that need that water? What will that do if it drains the aquifers down? A great concern to me, and I know other folks I've talked with there, great concern. So that was just, Jake at RM Schaefer, he put a hand pump well on for us, and I asked him that question the other day. Laura mentioned some contaminated water. Where will the runoff from that facility go? Because right now, it's that pipe comes under 22 right into our property with our streams, and there's live fish. I've seen a turtle there and everything. So concerns of wildlife with that runoff from the cement. Is that stuff caustic? Because there's a lot of chemicals in powder in the cement. Yeah, you got your limes, but there's a lot of chemicals in the cement making process.
Oh, Pamela, you're gonna have Ryan check this out.
I'm gonna have Ryan check it out, but I'm also gonna contact the Conservation District, because what you're explaining to me has me very concerned that they're doing activities that they don't even have an ENS plan for. There were ENS provisions for the H&K plan. of
Yeah,
course, but this is not H&K. So if they're doing it on their own, and it sounds like it's definitely over 5,000 square feet, they're supposed to have an official plan filed with the Conservation District and follow it to the T.
Mhm.
And all this runoff that's going all over the place just has, I
Yeah,
agree, it has
it's been
grave
going on for some
concerns.
time there.
Well, they're fiddling with it now, it sounds like,
Right.
yeah.
The majority of that will go to the pipe under 22 and runs
And
through our
probably
property.
clog it.
And that starts the watershed for Reading as well.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
hits a lot of the properties in the area, Sunday Road.
But that's why Attorney and I were looking at each other, because we thought it was H&K. We know H&K doesn't have permission, so it's the property owner. You said Furnace Streams? Okay, then that's what I'm going to explain to the Conservation
Appreciate that.
District, yes.
Then again, if they're gonna put a cement facility there, or what's their dust control plan? Like I said, what does it do to houses, cars, vinyl?
That was all talked about in
At the
Yeah.
Planning Commission, that's not, that wasn't at my level, that was at the Planning Commission level.
Uh-huh.
And we have a hydrological survey, and I offered it to you when you brought this question up before, and you didn't want it. It's like 29 pages.
Yeah.
If you'd like a copy of it, what you'd have to do a right-to-know request.
Yep.
Do a right-to-know request,
If I
and
may,
he can, Craig can get you a copy of that
Okay.
study. I just looked for mine, I don't have mine in my,
Okay.
I would've gave it to you. But,
If you're good, I want to just gaze through it and get
because that was
educated.
set up by
learn.
engineers and that stuff, it wasn't set up by a plumber.
Yep.
And the driveway is not controlled by the township, it's a PennDOT. So they have a highway occupancy permit, so the number of trucks or anything to deal with that was through PennDOT with the
Mhm.
traffic, if they needed a traffic impact study.
What is the holdup on that? Is it just the
H-
sewer facility? Is that the last thing?
I've been waiting for them now for months.
But I
Yeah.
wonder with the gentleman, what he explained about the concrete plant being needed for, what was going on, 78?
I thought they were gonna put it there for,
70
Len Hartsville Bridge,
It's for Len Hartsville Bridge.
but they wanna use it, make a ready-mix plant out of it, correct?
Yeah, they want to move the portable from Chromesville down so the trucks don't have to sit in traffic as much. But now that they got the approval for the warehouses out there, it seems like it kind of got put on hold, because why move it in here if the trucks are going
Yeah.
up there?
So what percent of the property are they gonna occupy, have they claimed?
I think it's like half of what's there.
I mean, the H&K plan itself?
Yes, well, their total footprint there.
Yeah, it was not the whole property.
No.
Yeah, it was only like half of. It's not where this work's being done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all, and it all went.
So you know
through
what works,
planning.
you know what's being, they're talking about here, yes?
Is it happening closer to 22?
Well,
It's up against Gold 22,
Yes.
but the ready-mix plant is supposed to be back towards 78.
He still has long fences still on the property,
Yeah.
correct? You know, there's another
And-
business on the property.
Well, and the
Long
guardrail.
fence.
And the guard, or is that? two?
That's long fence, is that the guardrail company? That is the guardrail
Yes.
company, I think.
I know, earlier this year, they were parked different locations
Mhm.
and stuff, so I didn't know if there was another guardrail place in there, because there was different trucks down towards the 78 side.
Yeah, it's not real tidy out there.
No, it never was.
But I mean, if they're moving stuff around and that and creating
Havoc.
water issues, yeah, conservation district should
They
know about it.
absolutely should go out there.
So is H&K still working with the folks in that property, or is it separate
We're
issue?
waiting to hear from them.
Yeah, it's in their ball, it's in their ball.
Yeah, I think they have one other issue to take care of, and I think that was for the septic
They're
system.
doing it.
And that was, and I don't know if that ever came back to Tom.
It's working, and there's these concrete slabs there, probably.
We haven't seen anything, it was,
I-
it was down to the
slabs.
improvements agreement, wasn't it?
It was the improvements agreement and the best practice DBMP. And I think there was some minor change, the last communication I had from them, which was several months ago now, was they wanted a minor change. I made the change, I sent it back to them. Silence.
And holding tank as well.
I also sent them the holding tank
Yeah,
agreement.
we had the holding tank agreement and the improvements agreement. We'd already processed the construction cost estimate, so they had the estimate.
You know, we keep waiting, we have to do it again.
I know.
Well, how long do they have? From the time of application, 2 years?
Yeah.
And how long is that, when was the application made?
Well, it depends on the final plan. So many years from the final plan, but they didn't.
And they never submitted it?
They didn't record it.
It's
No.
not filed, no, it's
No,
not.
they didn't record it because they didn't address all the conditions of the final plan
Yeah,
approval.
we never signed any final
No,
plans.
so you didn't sign a plan to release it for recording, so
Yeah.
it's still a pending plan.
Mhm. But there's a time limit to their,
Well, if it wasn't recorded now, it would have to come back to the supervisors to be reaffirmed because they're past their 90 days. You have to record it within 90 days.
they would have to grant us an extension.
Correct. So right now it's in limbo.
What did H&K put in on the other side of Lenhartsville? They have their sign.
I think that's a
down there,
staging area.
That's just staging for the
Yeah, for the
Lenhartsville Bridge.
So they're not putting a plan in there.
No.
No, yeah, that's just staging.
I mean, the other question I asked before was, all that concrete piled up on that property over there, who put it there? And why weren't they responsible for cleaning it up? Basically, that turned into a landfill on that property over there on Monument Road
What did they
for
do
years now.
on the bridge projects?
That's their business. So.
What, do you just pile it up there and leave it there and you don't clean it up?
Yeah. He moves it around every once in a while.
Not the concrete, they don't.
So, yeah, they shift the pile, they shift a little bit to say they're moving
Well,
it.
you know, if
and
a
then
regular
they add
homeowner
more.
would do that,
Yeah.
you know, there'd be hell to pay for it over here.
So the last communication I had was October 17th, from the attorney who's representing the landowner. And she said that she thanks me for my review and edit, communicated it back to the Kaufman, so I believe we'll coordinate those changes with H&K in the version that comes back to the township. That was the last communication I received. So I just sent an email asking for an update, so I can update the board once I receive something.
Almost 2 months ago then.
Is there a time limit for this to stop?
So,
or-
no, go ahead and answer that question first.
What he wants to know is what, once the plan has been approved, but they haven't recorded the plan, what's the time limit for then the plan to expire? I think that's the question here, right?
Well,
One of, yeah.
And that's per the
Yeah.
MPC, that would be per the MPC,
yeah,
right?
I'd have to double check the exact time. I think it's, the MPC would be 2 years.
Preliminary plan is 5, it's held for 5, but final plan, you're right, I think is a tighter timeline.
Yeah, but I'd have to double check. I know this has been pending with us
Oh,
since March of, at least March of 23.
Yep.
I was gonna say, it's been a while.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of nothing, just waiting.
Pam, my only comment, thank you for your comment there. My only comment is, I looked at an email today, and I think that the disconnect with the community is Ryan's doing his job, you know, somebody cut a little driveway in, it's not appropriate, so he's citing and whatever, okay, little things, okay? Here,
Is it a
The-
significant issue? Yeah.
and it's been going on for a while. So the public, and even myself, and I don't know the parties, there's nothing personal, but it seems like they have a long, wide latitude here compared to what other residents have. unless somehow you're gonna tell me they're exempt because they're commercial. I don't know. I'm just telling you, my ops, they're not exempt, okay?
No.
Okay.
They're not exempt from the
If they're
conservation
stockpiling.
district if they're doing stuff, and they're not exempt
Okay.
from code violations.
Do you see what I'm getting at here?
I
If-
absolutely do.
If you're gonna nag somebody about taking a little bit of soil away, make a driveway extension,
Let me ask you this, when complaints come up, is Ryan directed to follow the complaint, or is it he's finding the complaint? I just wanna understand your process here at Windsor. Because typically, it's the public complaints,
Yep.
or if one of the supervisors says, I saw this, can you investigate?
Mhm.
Typically, it's not the zoning officer, because we're so busy.
No, I
We don't
get
have
that.
time
No,
to drive
no.
around, so that's
So
what
I
I
think
wanna
I-
react to.
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
I think it's a combination of, I know it is.
This is critical to me.
Okay. I'm not saying it's not, I'm
No,
just
no, but I,
connecting the dots here for you.
yes, so a small project that I'm not aware of when I see in the zoning report compared to this, you're right.
Well, listen, I'm not upset about this person doing a little bit of driveway work. I'm just saying is, if we're gonna apply that to them, they
Make
should
it
not
fair.
be, they
Make
should
it
be
fair.
fair.
Make it
Okay, that's
fair.
all I'm saying.
Make it fair.
If you're not gonna worry about him, then don't worry about her, okay?
This I'm worried about.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, if he's stockpiling dirt there, he should probably have,
Well,
barriers there as
the
far as.
Gentleman said there's one
Yeah,
mulch
I
side,
mean,
that's
Roll
it.
that was put
That's
there
And that
after
would, and,
last.
you know, that you.
And that's because he told them he needs ENS control. That's what happened, he rolled out of, mhm.
Yeah, if he
Water
was gonna-
streaming
if he was
today
gonna-
pretty good.
If he was gonna
Probably not
stop, would he
working.
not need an ENS plan?
He needs an ENS plan. It sounds like it's greater than 5,000 square feet he's fiddling with.
They've got about 20 or 30 large slabs, roughly 8 to 10 inches thick, 6 to 8 foot long, was like 4 to 6 foot wide, all just stockpiled right along the road. They're like, they're gonna lay that down as a ramp side. I don't know, but boy, it's just right along 22 there. You
It
can't
probably
miss
came off 78 when he
Yeah.
just
it.
said.
It's new cement too, that's the crazy thing. It's not old cement. And it's a fresh cut, and not worn when you look at the tops of it.
Not to
so.
belabor the issue, but did the supervisors ever get a full development of the whole site with H&K in this corner, guide rail in this corner, and so on, like, so that you had an overall use of the whole property, so that you could see how things work? I was under the impression that it was just, the property was just to be bought and by H&K.
They're gonna
It's
lease
just
it, no, they're gonna lease it from.
And it's just, that's all that's happening on the
Furnace Street.
property, but
They're
it
just
sounds
leasing a
like
piece of it,
it's just a piece.
yeah.
There was something, part of the plan was marked out like that. That was like the original
See,
plan.
I don't attend the planning commission, that's Great Valley, so that's why I'm
So, I mean, that was like when they first came, they kind of said, okay, this is where we're gonna be at, this is existing with the guardrail. This
Well,
we're not touching and stuff, they kind of did, but like I said, that was back.
Yeah, H&K has their own ENS plan, but there's no ENS plan for the other remainder of the property. And that's where the concern is.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
I looked at the property, it's, you know, skinny as it goes up to
Yes.
where the bridge is, and I was like, really not like I can fit right there. I'm getting the feeling it's gonna be further down than closer to the 78. I don't know what could fit in there. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. I have enough info.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, that's it for public comment tonight. We'll move on to reports, the financial status. Did you need to,
If it's possible, but.
Oh, yeah.
let's go through the financial, it shouldn't take us that long, you can go next then, go ahead.
Okay. If you have a handout, the last 2 pages of that handout show the finances as of today. Again, as far as income is concerned, the one thing that's different is on the far right, that American Rescue Fund money, which we just had. That technically is part of the general fund. And if you then look down on line item 392 in their fund transfer, that money that was in the American Rescue Fund is actually transferred to the general fund, and that was expended for one of the road projects, you know, that was done this fall or this summer. So then the American Rescue Fund money is totally gone, and that was transferred into the general fund. You notice the largest expenditure for the township this year, on this last page, numbers 438, 439, that would be the road maintenance. The total for what was expended, $431,000 some dollars for just road maintenance, and then 185 was a new project. So there was quite a bit of monies, over $500,000 expended this summer for road work.
And the road maintenance included all of your oil and chip for the Martins or AMS, right?
Right.
And then all the other road maintenance that Ben was doing,
Mhm.
correct? And then the 185 was for Pine Street culvert replacement, so everybody hears.
Right.
Yep,
Did that ever get resolved with the guardrails?
yes, all fixed beautifully.
Okay.
There's-
Up to the specs.
Up to the specs.
Yeah,
They
looks
owned
good.
it, they owned it, and they would correct
Okay.
it, yep,
Yeah, that was done probably 2 weeks after we talked about
pretty
it.
quickly, yes.
Is that it? Any
So
comment?
Craig, what's our current checking account balance here? Where's that on the first page?
The checking account, that's not on there at all.
It's
But
not on there.
the checking account balance that we have right now is about $58,000. That's in the checking account.
Oh, well, then what do you have in savings?
In savings, I'd have to have the pad on the paperwork right in front of me, but in savings, the total savings that the township has is about over $600,000.
And is there any other accounts with balances in them? Any other accounts?
No, it's just a general fund and now the state liquid fuels fund. Those are the two accounts.
So there's a state liquid fuels account?
Right. That has a balance now of, I think, around $180,000.
Craig, when you say savings, that's Pliget and M&T.
Now, just, all of the savings that we have is through Pliget. Everything in M&T is just the writing of the checks.
And you said there's one more account? So there's just 3 accounts that funds in right now?
There's 2 accounts. It's just the general fund
Yeah,
and the state liquid fuels fund.
yeah, this,
The AMS was a separate Pliget fund, is that correct? You kept it separate?
Well, there's a savings account attached to the general fund, which is through Pliget. It's a Pliget account.
Mhm.
And part of that
That's what
Pliget,
Jerry needs to understand.
and then part of the general fund Pliget, we have a small, it's part of the general fund, but there's also a Pliget account with about $18,000 for the park. So that if there would be expenditures for the Edinburgh Park. So right now, there's the Pliget account, which is savings, has just the overall general fund,
Which is
and a
about
small portion of
$600,000.
it
Okay.
is for the Edinburgh Park. And then there would be a separate Pliget account, which of course, as I said, savings, in the state liquid fuels account.
Okay. So if you added all up, added up all accounts,
Mhm.
regardless of what title it has, what's the current balance?
The total balance, like, again, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, and I can make sure I can bring that paperwork with that,
Okay.
but it's over $500,000. The total balance that we would have.
Okay. Well, you said the one has 600,000, the other one has 180,
Right,
so
well,
that's 780.
okay, and then it would be closer to $750,000.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to understand the accounts. Okay.
that it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, Jared, you have the floor.
All right, the fire service report,
I'm kind of changing the formats and trying to make it kind of standard because we do have all three between Hamburg, Tilden, and Windsor. So just year to date, we're at 789 for the call volume so far for the year to date. So that's 789 calls. November has been very busy for the department. We did provide a relief engine over to Orgsburg. They had a catastrophic engine failure on one of their fire trucks, so we loaned them a truck for a few weeks. So they were not left without fire protection in the borough up there. Fundraising for the month of November, we had our best Black Friday boot drive event ever up at Cabela's. The guys stood out all day with their boots for a total of $8,831.20. So that got deposited in the general fund for savings. We have been navigating quite a few apparatus repairs here with the aging fleet. The brush has been out of service due to an ABS leak in the brake system, and it's military, so we're having some issues with that because there's only certain people that can work on it. So been actively going through that. The rescue engines had some regen emission codes that we're just working through due to the age of the emissions on the truck. And then also the ladder is in need after 25 years of service to get the rear airbags replaced in the rear of the truck. So 25 years with that weight hanging on it, it's just time to get those replaced. So that's going to be going up to Central Spring in Tamaqua on Monday. Sunday, this coming Sunday, we received notice from the North Pole that we're going to be doing escorting Santa around Hamburg and then hitting the adjoining neighboring town sections in Windsor and Tilden throughout the day. So we'll be doing that Sunday. We did just receive the final CoStar quote back. Scott has the USDA loan on the rescue submitted, so now they can start working through the last stages of the approval on the loan process. So that just got done today, so we should receive word on that shortly. We had the committee formed. We've been working through with the engineers on the development of the new rescue. So we've been working through on that just to be price increasing because they're hitting another $70,000 in price increases that we could be seeing if we don't get the contract locked in soon. So we've been really working through this on a diligent timeline so we're not wasting money due to price increases on the project. So we are applying with the AFG grant this year for the 24-25 cycle series for new turnout gear for fire suppression safety. We'll be holding the members' Christmas party on the 23rd, and the working group, the next fire service working group meeting is going to be January 23rd at 7 p.m. at the firehouse. With that, we're going to be going over the rescue update, and we're going to be explaining the county has issued some new run card categories that we need to come up with, so we're going to take the time and just explain to the group why the county has these run cards, what dictates the run responses, and just work through all that with everybody as a topic discussion. So get a chance for everybody to kind of see what we're up against with that. We are working through some new call types with pedestrian accidents, elevator rescues, and wilderness rescue, which is different than a search detail. So it just adds to the run card series that are out there. So it's a lot of time spent in drafting these and developing them with resources. So, and just thank you for the last year with everybody and the progress that we made with municipalities. And going into 25 with the financial support, and just thank you for the help in getting us over the hump with things. So the report's on file, and that is it. And I have nothing on the EMS side of it. After that meeting, I have nothing other than I'm going to be speaking with Dave tomorrow, Beth. But
yeah, because Amy had asked me if is it Laura that works at the ambulance? If she had contacted me, and Amy gave her my email address. I'm not sure who's running the ambulance, but I never received.
Oh, Leslie, sorry.
Leslie,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I never received any communication from her, so when she gets a hold of me, we'll start up a dialogue, but like I said,
Yeah.
Dave's gonna be involved in it.
Yeah, so he's been back and forth with things, but tomorrow we arranged to sit down and catch up on it, so
Okay.
see where it stands.
Any comment?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, sorry to bug out early.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, this next one could take a while. She's got a lot of titles here. Engineering.
It's not gonna take that long. All right, let's do Eden Park grant application first in your packets that I've given you. The first part, you have the application, like we had with the proposal and the resolution. We submitted an application for $30,000, which I signed and sealed as your PE. So that is in, and if you can talk to your politicians, that would be the way to seal the deal for this Middle Park project.
Which politicians now?
The two that are on.
Oh, is it on here?
Mm-hmm, they are.
What page is
I
that on?
love that, that they are on here. Let me see, page 5, 2, 3. It would be page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down towards the bottom of that little chart. You have Jamie Burton and Christopher Gephardt as the House and the Senate. Jerry, the page looks like this.
Are you counting front and back?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Sorry. There you go. that
Okay,
page.
got it.
Those are the two people you would want to talk to encourage them, since this is a nice little project, so they can fit it in with their big ones.
Okay.
Okay, so that I did for you guys. And then the PennDOT and MUTCD regulations, Ben had asked me to put together a beautiful notebook that he has in front of him with all of the different regs as he's attending classes to become more proficient in doing the traffic safety, temporary flagging controls and all that. So there's the notebook that will continue to build for him as he says he needs additional documentation, because it has little figures that tell him where to place cones.
Did he get any credit for election day? Can we give him credit for that?
Yeah, we
Well,
can.
nobody hit me.
No, but can we sign off to give you some points to
Oh.
get to your certification level?
No.
That won't count?
Bummer. Oh, well. Anyway, and if there's other regulations, please, they change constantly, but it's always good if you don't have access to, an iPad or anything in the field, you have that in the truck, you can quickly set things up,
The
so.
reason also is because the books we have are from the early 70s and mid 70s, so I know stuff has changed since then.
Probably a little bit.
So that's another reason why I asked her to get the updated info for me.
Plus, they now have defaulted to the manual on uniform traffic control devices, what we say MUTCD. So sorry if we use the acronym, but we're not clear on it, it's just, we're so used to it.
What's that?
Yeah, that's the federal that sort of oversees the PennDOT, so you have to, that's why he's asked for that.
Right,
And
okay.
I only asked for certain sections.
Correct.
Because that MUTC book's like that thick, it's like 1,000 pages, and we don't need that.
No.
I think we
That's
got
enough for you.
I think we got 100 or 60 or something like that out of that book.
Something like that. So that's that, and then here Craig started building me the liquid fuels closeout. We're meeting with Charlie Paris on December 18th to go through the two projects. And that would be the oil and chip and also Pine Street culvert. The majority of the funds, of course, being the Pine Street culvert that we paid H&K. So it's important, they're looking for different documents, including the proof of ad and other documentation, payroll certs, things like that. So that's why I put that on the agenda, and then, I don't know how many months it's been, Craig, but we're still trying to close out Hamburg Commerce Park letter of credit. So Craig got another FedEx package, the original LOC. He had to sign it again, and now we have to FedEx it back to a different location. So I don't know if you are billing Hamburg Commerce Park for this effort to close them out, but this is beyond ridiculous.
We should be billing them for it.
We should be billing
Right,
them for
Craig?
it.
What's
We
this?
should be billing for it?
We should be billing them for
For
it.
the
This is
services,
not
yeah.
just
Yeah.
one-time closeout. I'm gonna say this is probably the 6th or 8th time we have dealt with this.
So what's the appropriate amount? A couple thousand?
Oh, easily.
Okay.
I charge to the work order number. So our invoice has the time for Hamburg's Commerce Park. So those invoices are very straightforward. It's not mixed
Okay.
anywhere else. And I think you should charge all of those invoices to them, because it's their money.
So it's our time.
So how are we gonna come up with a
You-
total?
Put all the invoices together from a certain
Craig
period.
has the invoices?
If not, I can have Denise at our office run all of them from a certain date forward when we started dealing with this. I'm thinking it's probably 6 to 8 months,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
It's been so
If-
long.
If that could be forwarded, to
Copy me
the
on that,
township,
please.
I
then
will,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be nasty, but it's a waste of my time.
Well,
And
if
then
our
you're
money.
spending, yes. Because I don't have the contract with Hamburg's Commerce Park. SDE is the contract with Windsor. But this is not fair to the ratepayers that you're paying all this time just to get this
Mhm.
LOC closed out.
Well,
So I will gladly put all that together. I'm frustrated, that's why I wanted it on the agenda, so you
That's
all
fine.
hear me,
Well, we need to hear it.
okay? All right, so that's on my to-do list. I will get you, and did you spend time too?
If I did, I built the same way.
Well,
So you
we'll put them
would-
all together.
you would have
That's all of them
invoices.
together.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll copy you in the mail, then you can tag your invoices, we can put it all together, and then Craig will write a cover letter to Hamburg's Park and tell them, we're not gonna send this back until we get the check. Okay?
Agreed. Agreed?
It's a lot of money.
Agreed?
Well, yeah, we're still holding,
No, this is it. This is your final release.
but it wasn't released yet.
They won't release it until they get this document back. US Bank, that's what I'm understanding.
Oh, I know. We had issues with partial releases with them too.
With US Bank?
Yeah. On this project.
All right. Understood?
That's
Okay.
for our time.
All right, and then, of course, in the back of your packet will be all of the normal reports that we issue, SEO, engineering, and zoning and building, so if there's any questions. Oh, Ben, this is for you, this is the signage plan. And then Russell to get PennDOT to approve the signs on 61. I didn't find a copy of my the ordinance adopting the weight limit study.
I don't think we actually have adopted it yet. I think we were doing all the pre-work for it,
Okay,
so.
all right. Well, I'm wondering if PennDOT won't approve of the signs without the approved ordinance.
Probably not, but we can get that queued up. We had sort of put it on hold
Okay,
because Hamburg wasn't cooperating.
now they're cooperating.
So
Ben's
now-
ready to install signs. Supervisors want the signs
Yeah,
installed.
so we
Okay,
can queue
you
that
can do
up.
that.
We can queue that up probably for the February meeting.
All right. Are there any questions on any of the paperwork I gave you, the reports, or anything else?
Did you want to go over the fee schedule at all?
No, that's a totally separate one. That was, I thought, later in your agenda, so I was waiting for that unless you want to go over it now.
Yeah, you have the floor.
And it's not listed on the.
Yeah.
Oh,
see it on the
it's on the agenda, okay. All right, before the meeting, Russell and I were chatting about the zoning hearing board, 1,500 and 2,500 for the conditional uses. Per the NBC, you're only allowed to, you can't make money, you just basically, you're gonna lose money, no matter what. And usually it's the attorney fees, so my recollection, it's the advertisement and your stenographer, right?
That's my understanding.
Which is not that much. So you can charge the money, but you have to refund the money if your certain fees did not get up to that amount. Now, these are, yes, because it's,
I'm not sure I understand what that meant.
okay.
You lost me here.
Let's say the advertisement is $500. And let's say the stenographer is $500. That's $1,000,
Right,
but you charge $1,500. You may have to refund
Refund.
the $500.
okay.
Does that make sense?
I think it's
Yes.
upon a request, though.
Right, which,
No one ever requests it.
there's some savvy people out there. Most of them, they just checks and but by law, you'd have to, by
Okay.
request.
Yeah. I
So-
think all of us did once, so.
Did you? Yeah.
But it was an unusual situation.
So I'm thinking, you can adopt this at the January meeting, right?
Mhm.
If you want Russell and I to put together, it's more of Russell, because it's his cost, what the MPC permits you to charge, what that typical charge is, what you have charged for your most recent zoning hearings and your conditional uses.
What has that number been?
I don't know, so I'm not privy to
Okay.
that. Yeah, but this would be something more in Russ's world.
Do you have that
Right.
number, Russ?
What the fee is?
What we've been charging?
I think about 1,000 or 1,500. Let me just, I can double check.
And then I think Craig would have the invoices from everybody, right?
We have the invoices, yes, obviously.
My ultimate question is, we're proposing to go to 1,500 and 2,500. What was the old rates?
I think that's what. Russ
That's
is
what I'm
looking
looking
at.
for.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah. Now, these two are comparable to your surrounding community, so if you do choose to go, it's not like you're pillaging. It's very fair. It's just I want to make sure that you're not obligated to refund a lot of money if they request it. That we're close.
So, I think the last time we adjusted things was in 2022. And it was $1,000 for variance, special exception, zoning officer appeal. 2,000 for zoning change, curative amendment, conditional use.
2,000.
So each one's going up in this proposal $500.
It looks like it, yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Well, I think it's reasonable if you're talking about a tax increase, right? The people are asking for stuff to be done, to be paying the bill, not the residents are just living their standard lives. That's my opinion.
The township just got an invoice today from Christopher, you know, for the variance, and the fee for the applicant was 1,000, and the bill that we got was 1,400.
And that's what Russ is gonna check into. How much are you allowed to charge for the attorney fees? And we know for sure it's the stenographer and the ad.
Well, if someone comes into the township and we went through all this with Mountain Trail Solar and we had a stenographer here and that stuff, if they're coming in here making the application, why is the township paying for the stenographer? Why isn't the applicant paying for the stenographer?
That question is best directed to the bums in Harrisburg,
Yeah, it's a lot.
unfortunately.
Right
It's
here,
a lot, yes.
the list of what we paid to the stenographers from Mountain Trail
I
Solar.
don't even wanna look at that number.
Well, I mean, they charge by the page and she charges by the hour.
What
But
is
why,
it?
why is the township paying it and not the applicant?
I'll just tell you, the history on the municipal planning code was written by developers, not by municipalities.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay it.
So there's certain language that's hidden in the MPC that errs on the side of the developer, unfortunately. And the municipality ends up,
Something else to talk to Jerry about,
yes, please,
or Jamie,
Jamie and
Gephardt.
Gephardt. That's a lot of money that you cannot recoup.
Because they charge by the page,
Correct.
and I mean, how many pages did we have through all those hearings and that stuff in our time?
Thousands.
And why,
Yeah.
if that's allowed, if the initial discussion, Russ, you and I had about the stenographer and the ad,
I gotta check.
why aren't they going back and charging the applicant the difference for the stenographer? That's a very good point. If that's permitted by MPC, I think its attorney fees are the one that's wishy-washy and you
Mhm.
can't.
Yeah, so the appearance fee has to be shared, can be shared, but the cost of the original transcript must be paid by the board if the transcript is ordered by the board or hearing officer. I mean, and I believe they asked for them, but then we would have to pay for our copies.
That's nothing compared to
Yeah, I
what
know.
Sheedy has over there.
I know, but that's not how she billed it. I mean, we can,
Yeah, she billed for her time and then it was for each additional page. I believe it was, wasn't it?
The problem becomes now is,
How to recoup.
I mean,
No, you're gonna look at this, but it's just down in this bottom corner here. And that was from like a trip amount.
Me or her?
Well, we're gonna pass it to
Yeah.
Russell too. Yeah.
So where's the total at? There's numbers on.
Well, here,
each place.
this whole section is just stenographer.
$1,300
I had Craig-
$1,300.
I had Craig make that up for me.
You talking about $1,300? 1,309?
Is that
no,
for-
that has to be more than
Well, I
that.
Yeah,
got
it
the
has
number
to
on the
be.
sheet.
Yeah, that has to be, it has to be more than that.
You have the date here
Yeah, those are
for
the
each of the
dates.
meetings,
This would be, the total amount there is what?
49,
Yeah, 4,000, the better part of $5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah, that sounds more right.
And that
to
was
me.
just for
That
24,
was just for,
Just 'cause
for
we're-
24.
Okay.
And then
and then
here-
23 is,
This is 23.
okay, so you're at another 1,300,
Yeah.
well, 1,400 for 23, so you're talking $5,600.
And you had $2,000 on an application fee.
That would have been.
Yeah, 5,000 and plus
Yeah.
14.
That's what we paid, that's what we paid for,
$6,400
Trail
basically.
Solar.
For, just for
Stenographer.
stenographer.
Russell, you and I can look into that for them. That's a lot of money. Okay.
So we bill them, will they even pay it?
At the end of the
What?
day, make a
If
copy
we,
of that,
if
give
we
it to
can
them.
legally bill them, will they pay it? Can we
Just give
legally
them a
collect?
sheet. And if they
So what
have
I'm saying to you, is
questions,
it worth your
contact
time?
No.
Probably
You know,
not.
if they,
Well,
I know
then
you
you wanna
did
do
it,
it.
you know.
But
I know,
I think you need to know the answer to the
But it gives them
underlying
more.
question.
Okay, I understand, but
But then-
ultimately,
Ultimately, I think you can send a bill to Mountain Trail Solar all you want. You know,
they're gonna say they're out of business because they never started any, right?
well, remember, they have a co-applicant who is in business.
That's why they walked away, okay?
I mean, if you get a judgment against them from the MDJ,
All right, I'm just saying, how much money are we gonna spend chasing?
I agree with you.
It's not worth it.
But I think you need to know the answer to the underlying
Sure.
question.
What does the MPC state? And then if we get other applications, what are we going to do moving forward to make sure that there's not
Mhm.
an outrageous amount of money that the township is stuck with?
Right.
Okay.
No, I agree.
All right, so we'll get the answers and then we'll make a plan to move forward with the next submission. My. All right, other than the zoning hearing and the conditional uses, is there anything else in the proposed rate table that you
So, my
have
question
questions
is, what's changed?
My understanding from Ryan, the only thing that changed was the two numbers, the zoning hearing and the conditional use. An hourly rate, certain locations it went up to, I believe, $75 an hour, it may have been 70 before.
So there's $5 increase there.
Yeah, we were trying to restructure everything to be consistent from a lot of different municipalities, so we weren't. And that was really about it.
Are these numbers gonna reflect any increase from the professionals? Because we haven't received any of them yet.
You should have received the
I
letter.
haven't seen anything.
Yeah, it was a letter with the new rate
Hmm.
table. Mhm.
Yeah, we have it on file, I don't have it with me.
Yeah, because you usually send it to me in email, and I haven't seen it.
If you
Well, that
need,
shouldn't that be shared with everybody?
Yeah,
yeah.
I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Because we get one from
We'll make it available.
you know, we get one from SDE, from Russell, and then
Right,
Great
and
Valley.
we typically mail the original out so it can be signed. So if you need me to do an email of the unsigned version, I can do that.
Yeah, just to reflect what the increase
If
is
you
gonna
would
be.
email it, then I'll forward it to the two other guys.
I have all the, I can copy everything, including Russell. Fine.
So I'm just gonna pick on one item here, just for an example. I mean, I have nothing in mind, but I'm looking at page 3 here, and it says driveway permits onto township roads. A driveway paving $50, all right? So, big deal. My question is, the way the township is charged, Ryan would drive out to confirm it was paved or whatever, and we're going to get a bill for it exceeding $50 for that inspection. I don't know if that's appropriate example, but that's kind of
It's
the
a good
crux.
analogy, yeah.
Yes. So that's my question on all these fees. Does it cover the cost that we're incurring? Not that we're profiting from it, but, you know, to meet the regulations that we're bound by, is Ryan going out and inspecting that driveway for $50?
No, his hourly rate is not, his hourly rate is like the 70, 75.
So the time he leaves the office, the time he gets back, that's the hourly rate.
Unless he's doing, let's say, several inspections
Sure.
in a certain location.
So my question is, are those fees appropriate?
How I approach those kind is typically I let the roadmaster actually do them.
Well, I think Ryan came up with those numbers 2 years ago.
The roadmaster to do what? Do the inspection?
Because it's tying into your township road. And he's gotta be happy with that tie-in.
That was brought up 2 years ago,
And
and nobody communicates. Because there's been a lot of driveways that have been blacktopped that I let Brian know, because I see the blacktopper's there, and then he comes up. But nobody communicates before the blacktop's on the ground. It's always after the fact. Because we have an issue down in Strasser, they blacktop early spring, and now all the water's running onto the road.
well,
But
then
yet, it's blacktop, we can't do nothing, you know. But yet, they didn't pull a permit, and so we went after them for the permit, but
if you look at it, and again, I'm just looking at the rate schedule here. You need to escrow $250.
I don't know if that ever happens.
So, and then you have a specific activity, it's paving, so that would be $300. That's definitely enough to do
Well,
the inspection.
But if they escrow 250, don't they get back the 200?
They would get back, I would call it any unused. Because it's not listed here, non-refundable or refundable. I'm not crazy about the way that that's listed, but again, this is what my code department, this is.
I got a lot of stuff to talk about here tonight.
Sure.
Hopefully get out of here by 10. But there seems to be a major disconnect here, okay? Is that making sense?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't want to be the bull in the china shop here, but there's bills coming in. I'm not seeing itemized bills from both services on this side of the table. It's never in the packet. We're being charged for services that we don't even use, all right? We're talking about a tax, not with related to you, okay? We're talking about increasing a tax, all right? And we're pissing the money out the back door here, okay? Which doesn't make sense. And if somebody wants to put a driveway in, is all the residents supposed to compensate for that charge? I mean, I don't know, maybe that's the way we want to do it, and throw all the fees out, just make taxes high enough to cover all this. And I'm not, pointing out you, but I'm saying, how do we get together on this, right? Is that his job? I don't know. I mean, who's supposed to do what here?
it's always been the zoning officer.
Okay, and the fee we're charging doesn't cover the zoning cost.
Unless it's the
So-
escrow, but it's not written very clearly that the $50 would be just the application fee, the escrow would cover the inspection. So I'm saying it's not clear, so
Mhm.
that the applicant is also not clear.
Right,
Nobody's clear.
so this has to be redone, is what
I
you're saying?
think so. For that particular question, I think the other parts, the zoning permits, they're pretty clear.
Okay.
The
It's not that I
$100.
want to profit from this,
No,
all
we just-
right?
we
But
just
we got to
wanna-
cover our cost.
Absolutely.
Either
So,
we get you to lower your price, or we got to get this right.
so talk to Ryan.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
I understand where that one is a
Okay.
big disconnect. The other thing I'd like to do is have an email that says where he's going, so that we all know. He's
Okay.
going to inspect da-da-da-da-da. So that you're aware before it comes to the report,
Sure.
what he's been doing.
Okay.
So
I'm not criticizing the man and what he's doing. I'm just saying
there's a disconnect.
yes.
Okay, so I need to know, as the representative, and that's spooky, I need to know, so that in case there's a question from one of you before we get to the report, why are you looking into this? Was there a complaint?
Right,
You see what I'm saying?
sure.
So I think that there just needs to be a procedure that we
Sure.
follow,
So,
if that makes sense.
so-
And including if Ben sees something that says, I really need Ryan to look at this.
Well, that's every week.
Okay, well, there's an email, but
So-
I'm not
so-
seeing any of
So,
this.
so
yet.
another example here is, somebody's building a house down here along the Creek Lane, and they didn't get a permit, and they're in the flood.
The Creek Lane,
Creek
yeah,
Lane,
that
okay.
mess, that, yes,
So essentially, it sounds like to me they're gonna have to jack that house 2 feet, up 2 feet to make it comply.
that's
So
correct.
how many visits is he gonna make, and where are we getting the reimbursed for those costs? Is that just an expense?
Russell, do you understand what?
I do, I'm
understand what
making a
you're-
note of it.
Okay, but I'm saying is, how do we address these expenses, all right?
At the end of the day, the property owner, because they did work without a permit, should be paying all his costs. All of his costs.
So how do we get that then?
They will not get a UNO.
So who manages this process then?
That comes up to where I need to then see his bills. And they need to go into a formal letter, probably from Russell, to say you owe
Okay.
Township the following fees.
Okay.
Because you built a house in a floodplain, which jeopardizes the township.
Okay.
Flood
You
insurance.
see my thinking here, we have to, if
Yep.
people are doing things, we need to be collecting from them, not from everybody else.
Correct. And it needs to be stated, what it does is in the fee schedule, sorry, this one, there can be paragraphs of disclaimers that say the applicant or the property owner is responsible to pay all professional fees, including engineer,
Okay.
zoning officer, and solicitor,
Okay.
so that it's there. It's there in black and white.
So you're gonna draft this document and at the next
We'll
meeting?
redo it.
And we can agree on it and
We'll
move
redo
forward?
it.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
And just so you know, that language is already in your fee schedule. It's been adopted, it's been in there for years.
Okay,
For that reason, so that we could go back and bill,
but who's managing that?
well,
I don't
in the
think it's
absence
not-
of,
It's not here, clear. Is it elsewhere?
that's not adopted. This is what's been adopted.
That's last year's,
Yeah, we adopted the fee schedule at every reorg meeting.
correct, but this one doesn't have the disclaimer.
No,
There's some questions.
no. Who manages that? In the absence of the township manager, that would need to be the treasurer who manages it. My office.
That's
does
correct.
not- Yes,
Okay.
my office does not manage that, so.
And nor does ours, because it's the
Yeah.
permit fee. But if you need SDE to help somehow, I just need to be directed how you want me to help. I can correct this to have all its very clear language. And also, the applications themselves, the 1-page or 2-page, need to have the same disclaimer and the very clear language, so
Mhm.
that, well, I didn't see the fee schedule, excuse. You completed the permit and here's the language.
Sure.
You're responsible.
Okay.
So I think that kind of belt and suspenders would really help. And if we don't have that redundant language, Russell, I think it should be there.
I would agree with you. I honestly, I don't know the last time I've seen those applications. Those don't usually come through me.
Right. And Ryan may have just updated them for SDE because of LTO to
Okay.
SDE. So it's now the time that we can
Yeah.
change those very quickly and very easily. I'm writing, Jerry, so just give me a moment. Disclaimer added to all permit apps.
It wouldn't be a bad idea perhaps to have those applications for the reorg meeting to be approved by
Absolutely.
the township. That
Absolutely.
way the three of you can see them
The whole
and
picture.
approve them and not
Right.
just have it go out and
Right.
without you having
The
seen it.
new fee schedule and all permit apps. This would be a driveway, this would be zoning, conditional
Sure.
use,
Yes, everything,
building
that-
permit,
right.
everything that this touches.
right,
You wanna see that form that the applicant is completing.
right. Yep.
Now, that Are you reorganizing on Monday, January 6th?
Yes.
You want me there to go over all this?
Mhm.
Because I am
Yes,
available.
yes.
I had a couple others that cleared that I'm attending.
Yes, for that
different
purpose,
meeting.
I would say yes.
That's what I need to find out, okay. So I will gladly attend. But I will send all of this
Right.
via email, so you all.
Not,
have it.
not the day out. I need some time to read it, okay?
For this, absolutely,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Just the day before then. You read fast.
No, that's a Monday, so I'd probably send it that Thursday,
Okay, that's fine.
because that's the day after the holiday. Okay. All right, what else that I can make notes of regarding this, or is that,
I think that's
The
it for
bigger
that
picture
particular
for now.
topic, for that topic.
okay, and then the zoning weekly emails of complaints. Anything else?
Can I ask this question? What is the procedure that you want the public to follow when they want to submit something for review? Because I find that I get a fair number of emails from, whether it be from Steve or from Ryan or from, that someone has contacted them and there's a question about the fee schedule and whatnot. And I don't mind answering those emails, but you shouldn't have to pay me to answer that sort of question over and over when they're, because a lot of the time it's, well, they need, the answer is, well, they need to file it with the township and they need to pay the fee for a sketch plan or something along those lines. So I don't know if there's a particular way you want that handled, but I don't know that it
But
needs to always come to
In
me.
other townships, wouldn't the secretary handle all those questions?
A lot of townships have a manager, so yeah, but yes. And a lot of times the answer is email Craig or go talk to Craig. And usually when I get that question, I always copy Craig on it so he's in the loop. But I don't know if that's the procedure you want to follow. I think that Ryan and Steve also need to be looped in on that so that the question isn't coming to me who's charging you by the hour versus going to someone who you're paying salary to.
What about the website? Do we have everything on the website?
No, and that's the other problem.
That's the other thing that could eliminate a lot of these questions, because it's just everything should be available at the website. All the permits to be downloaded, the fee schedule to be viewed,
And I think that after this is approved,
upload all of that.
I think if we get all this up on the website, then it will probably eliminate a lot of those questions.
Absolutely.
And you can just refer them to the website.
Yes.
Well, and then, I'll make a point of saying to Steve and Ryan, it's all on the website.
On the website.
I don't know anything more than you know. Just because I don't want to be billing you point two to answer an email that I don't need to answer.
If I had to sign, I wouldn't sign that bill. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so that's
Just a
another
joke,
thing.
it's a lot,
No, but
okay?
we-
But I thank you for caring, okay?
But we're working together, we can get all of this organized, you guys can look at it, approve it.
Yes.
We can then have everything uploaded, we can be in the century we need to be, where it's all available, and if somebody calls it, look at the website.
Right, we gotta get organized in all
Yes,
this.
okay, look at the website, everything should be there. We can assist with that, very minimally, keep it down. But that way, hopefully, it will streamline the process for
Okay.
all of these different applications.
Sure.
But I think that's a good plan.
Okay, what else do you have?
That was really it that I had, it was just the
I have
report, the
something for you
listing.
here. Jamie Barton sent out a little bragging thing that something he's done since he's been in office, right? And on the back here, our neighboring township, Tilden, received $275,000 for a truck,
Mhm.
all right? From a
LSA
LSA grant,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
When Ben someday is gonna decide he needs a truck, right, someday. And, how can you, when's the time to apply for that?
All right, the next LSA grant for Berks County its deadline is September 30th. I think it opens up July 1st. Then the statewide one, which was the park one, is, it opens up just after the September 30th, and then it closes November 30th.
So we
So
missed it.
we want, yeah, we missed both, but the next one you want to tag him with is the Berks County one, because of the casinos. And that's the one that you can say, hey, we submitted this, park grant, but now we need a truck and we're asking for, and Ben can get me the cost. We can upload the quotes, we can put that in for the 2025 LSA grant, local, not
Okay.
statewide, local.
So you're gonna put that on your calendar then?
I can, absolutely, and we can do that for you. I'll certify the cost as your PE again, not a problem. The trucks are not getting cheaper. The chassis itself, what was $350 just for the chassis? Just the chassis. That's not fitted out. So we may be looking at $500,000 for a new truck,
Those two.
just like the fire apparatus. It's getting ridiculous. But yes, I can put into my report,
Okay,
a tickler
thank you.
file, absolutely. And if there's other things you have, I can get you, I'm trying to do this for all my clients, is get you a list of all the different grants that are out there and their timelines to submit. If you don't submit, you don't get it, or you don't get
Right,
in front of the peeps
Right.
to ask for it. Your township can't keep affording these things. Let's get in front of them. Okay,
So I brought it up.
thank you. So I will get you a memo that has all their dates, and then you can keep that handy and say, okay, Pamela, this grant's coming up. We'd like to apply. All right? Okay. All right, so that's the local for a truck. Tandem? What do you look at?
I'll get you the old quotes. I don't know what the new ones will be, but the specs, I'll get you the specs.
Get me the specs. Get me the specs. You got it. All right, so we went over all of that, the reports, the fee schedule. I'm gonna get info to Craig for the Himbers for that, and then we're meeting with Charlie to do all that and close out. And then, we're going to work, I'm gonna work with Ben, to coordinate with the, liquid fuel submission electronically, so that is also moving forward. So that is it. I've taken up enough time, I
Thank you.
think. You're welcome.
Any questions? No? All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, on to the Roadmaster. What do you have, Ben?
Now we're back to a full fleet of trucks. We picked up the last one on Monday. Of course, that was the most expensive bill, but it's back. Drives great down the road now, so
Yeah, that's good.
hopefully it lasts and nothing else goes on for the rest of this year.
Well, when I drove them, they didn't.
So they're ready to go. The spreaders are on, so we'll see how much we use them this winter. Earlier in November, I went to Lancaster for the ESM training. That's also going to help with trying to get some more funding for our roadworks.
That is the dirt and gravel, low
Yeah,
volume.
low volume.
There's two
Correct.
different ones,
Yeah.
low volume and dirt and gravel.
So we would be for the low volume.
Less than 500 vehicles a day.
Our problem is we don't actually have an updated list of what our traffic counts are. They have to be within 5 years. So we're gonna have to do traffic counts on our roads.
Which is a rubber hose laying across the road.
It depends. That's level 2. Is that we can do a level 1, which I did start that I sit out there for 2 hours
2 hours.
and do a count, and then we gotta times that by 12. And if it's under 500, we can apply. If it's 600, or even 700, then we gotta go to level 2, which is putting hoses over. Because a lot of our traffic is morning and evening rush hour. It's not all day long. But they want you to pick the rush hour time, and that's what they base it over the whole 24 hour.
So it could be misleading.
Yeah. But that would be something, we would have to wait till the beginning of May to do the traffic counts again. Because from May 1st through Thanksgiving, is when you do the traffic counts and stuff. So, as of now, we really can't apply for anything for next year because we don't have the updated counts and stuff. Because we actually have to have proof of them. Now, I did do countdown on Strasser, Hawes, and Constitution. Because Strasser, we need to do some base repair, blacktop, and some more pipe repair on there. Constitution, when they were there to do the bridge inspection 2 years ago, they were saying about the drainage coming down from the top. So that would require milling it all down, putting a sealer on, and re-blacktop.
So when you say they, who are they?
The state inspectors,
Okay.
the state
the-
bridge
For
inspector.
the bridge deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Now they will be here in March to inspect it again. So I crack sealed it again, but if there's more, because we have 2 joints that are 1.5 inches apart and another joint that's like 1 inch apart. They are starting to separate and shift. And it's been commented the last couple times that we are having excess water drainage coming down from the top. So is there a spring somewhere that's flowing over and coming in? I don't know. No, but we have the top sealed with the crack sealer, but eventually we're gonna have to do something eventually. So if we can apply for this funding through the low volume, that'll take care of that instead of, that's gonna probably be roughly 200,000. So you get somebody in to mill it all down and then put the sealer stuff on and then re-blacktop.
Did they discuss a maximum grant amount? Do you remember?
It's all up to the county. It's all by county.
It's the advisory board.
So, yeah. And I'm going to that on the 18th is the Berks County meeting. So I want to see kind of what they
How
get.
they discuss it.
Yeah. Because they said each county's different on what funding they get and stuff. So, of course, I think up north gets probably more money because they have more dirt roads and low volume compared to down here. But
You're talking about the amount of money that Berks County is going to get, not what they're allocating,
yes, yeah,
correct?
Yes.
It's the statewide allocation for this program.
yes.
Gotcha.
But then it's based on, they said it's based on the county and what they figure as far as low volume roads compared to dirt roads.
Right. And
stuff,
that,
so.
right, with the Marcellus Shale, they may be
Yeah, they
getting
might,
more
yeah.
money down this way finally.
So,
And when is that?
the 18th, from 12 to 1 at the Ag Center.
Is that the bridge we had the sediment problem on?
Yes, and that's another
Are they
thing.
gonna bring that up?
Well, that's gonna be in the report again, and stuff. So that would also help. We
That-
could, with the money, we could also probably do that too, because that's maintenance on it.
Yeah, cause I had talked to Andy from M&A Construction and they can probably do it with a back truck.
Well, that's pretty much what we need and stuff to do is a vac truck. So,
So you're not entering the creek?
yeah. We were good the last time. We were very good. We only got half of it out though.
Still helps.
But it went from getting to critical issue to manageable issue, so, but yeah, so I'm sure that's gonna be brought up on the inspection report again, because that thing changed. So, but,
Yeah, I think they kinda glossed over it last time because you made an effort to go in and clean it up.
yeah,
But if it comes up again,
But-
it's something
but
I have
yeah.
to deal with.
They
You keep-
categorize it different priorities, right?
yes,
Mhm.
so, but yeah, they kinda lowered it because we did attempt it and stuff, but now, since we didn't do nothing again, will they still leave it down, or will it, because with the shifting of the top now. they're-
Jerry, do you understand what he's talking about? The bridge inspections, they have like 5 different priorities. Priority 0 means you better do it right away. It's-
Yeah,
it's imminent.
I wasn't aware of the scale.
Like priority 1 is, you should do it like within the next 30, 60, 90 days. So there's different priorities that they'll dictate to the township in these bridge inspection
Mhm.
reports that then tell the township officials, roadmaster, you need to address
Address
this.
the
So I just wanted to make sure you
Yeah, no.
understood why I was saying priorities. It's
Yeah,
that there are gonna be some that are gonna go up.
Right now in the township, that's the only bridge that gets inspected through the state because of the span. All our other ones are narrow enough that we don't have to get
Okay.
inspected.
Thank
But
goodness.
the state covers that.
Well, it comes out of your liquid fuels. The
Yeah,
inspection
no,
comes out of your
so,
liquid
yeah,
fuels
yeah.
fund. But ultimately, you're responsible to pay attention to the priorities that are listed there and get the work
Yeah.
done.
They do every other year, they inspect it. Usually, for here, it's been falling in March. And then the following year, we sit down with the inspector and get the report.
Okay.
and stuff. So,
It's not weight restricted.
No.
Once it gets weight restricted, then it's a problem.
That's
So
right.
we want to avoid that.
But we had settlement in, and they don't know if that's what's causing the shifting or just, it was different times back then.
Okay.
There wasn't as much oversight on installs like they do now, because it's a concrete box culvert and stuff, so.
That's a 33-foot wide road, isn't it?
Mhm.
And that's what put us in violation because of the width.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
the-
that was a mistake
it's
in
the-
that development.
Yeah, it's the open span is
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah.
the open span.
Yeah, we don't have 33-foot wide roads anywhere other than there.
yeah.
And I don't know why that development was set up like that.
It's the span of the water opening is what it is, not the width of the road. It's that, it's the
Oh,
other
okay.
direction.
Well, that's 20,
So-
it's 24 feet.
Right, it's I think it's 8 feet or less than they ignore you, so you're well
Yeah.
over.
You can do up 8, they ignore from 8 to 12. You're supposed to get it inspected every once in a while, but then anything over 12 is every other year inspected. So, but I'm hoping now with that training that we can help assist with that too. Since most of our roads fall under the low volume, be under 500 cars a day, but to apply though, we need updated numbers. So, probably then come spring, we should, I guess, rent the,
I can
thing,
get you
and
some
then
information if you,
get a
if you
couple
need it.
days
Or
and go out and
you
then,
can call,
that way we have something to go by.
I would call your local traffic engineering firms and find out if they do rent it instead of having Russell or I inquire. And see if they rent it and with the box, and then you give it back to them, they can download it and email you the report. But you would, maybe install it
Yeah.
and minimize the cost.
Right.
But yeah, they need the tubes, that would be the best, because I think doing the manual count is misleading, and
Well,
it's not gonna get you the qualification you need.
I'm just surprised they don't allow someone in the town to do the counting. That's, you know. 'cause
It's
we
a
get the
trust.
number well,
It's
yeah,
a trust
Okay.
factor.
Well, the supervisors can do it, the roadmaster can do it.
I can guess too.
It's- Just don't fall asleep there.
Who put the counter on
I'll drive by and blow the
Hefner
horn.
Road that time when we were changing the speed limit? Warren? Yeah, I don't know if Tom put that out or not.
What's that?
We changed the speed limit on Hefner Road, and I think he had to do the traffic study, and somebody put a counter out on that road when that happened.
Hefner or Hefner?
Hefner.
Hefner.
Yeah, Tom was involved in that.
Okay.
Yeah, we lowered the speed limit.
Yeah, you have to have the speed limit, 85th percentile on the count. And then how long, so that the board knows, is your certification good for your EMS training? Because I think it's 3 years or 5 years.
It's 5 years.
There we go. So he's certified to do these grants for you
Okay.
guys with ours, minimal assisted, and that's great.
Guidance.
So I kept encouraging him, attend it.
Yeah, because before it was like out of Western PA, so this is the closest it's been since I've been here.
It was low, it was fairly local.
Yeah, it was right over Lancaster,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so.
So 5 years
yeah.
is awesome.
And to be recertified, you just gotta go to a 1-day on-site class. And that could be, every year that's at a different location too. So even if it's at 4 years and I see it's local, I'm gonna try to go there instead of waiting to my 5th year and have to go out like Pittsburgh and stuff.
No trip.
But yeah, it's just a 1-day course, and and stuff, so, to be recertified. It could bring more money in, but we're fighting against everybody in Berks County, but, well, not, I guess, not everybody, I guess not everybody's gonna apply for it, but, you know.
That's correct, because you have the certain qualifications, and they
At least
thoroughly
northern
review-
Berks, we're competing.
And they thoroughly review the applications. I talked to Dean Druckenmiller, and they really look at them very closely.
But other than that, I did some crack sealing of some areas, mainly over there. That's about all I really did in November then. But other things to mention, I brought it up at last meeting about the stop sign at the schoolhouse down here. I did review with Ryan, the
trees.
the arborvitae roots are right on the other side of our right of way, but they're hanging over. So I talked to him on Monday because I measured it out,
You talk to who now?
Ryan, on
Ryan.
Monday.
Okay.
And he said, well, as long as it's over in ours, we can cut it. Well, the lady was there that owns the property. And she let me know that the 20th, they're signing the papers to a new owner, that she's no longer gonna be there. So, I don't know, there was no sale or anything, but I don't know if the county turned it over to somebody else, but she said on the 20th, they have a closing on there and she will no longer be there.
So she's taking no responsibility.
Correct.
Can you go and be nice and talk to the new owner and
Well,
express your concerns to
we-
address the
They gave
problem?
us, they were nice, they gave us a number, their voicemail's full. So what we're gonna, Ryan and I suggested that we're gonna cut it below the stop sign. Instead of having it up, we're just gonna come down below the stop sign and trim them like a hedge for now. And we'll see once these new people start, you know,
Well, I mean,
or move in or whatever.
are we gonna get in trouble, Russell?
Is it in our right of way or PennDOT's?
It's in our right away, it's on Sunday.
The trees are in the right of way.
Well, it's on our, because Windsor Castle's PennDOT, so it's the township side, it's on Township Road, it's not on the PennDOT road. So,
Well, that's Sunday Road up to that stop sign, right?
Correct.
And that's where it ends.
yes.
So are the trees in the right of way on Sunday Road?
The roots are off, but they lean over.
So we could get charged for those trees.
Could, because if the roots are not in the right of way, but I think you could also send a notice of violation to
Because
the homeowner.
there's another thing too, with the Title 75 of the Traffic Code, Section 6112, it is the property owner's responsibility for any traffic hazard, and that's a traffic hazard. Because
you
of
don't
sight
have-
distance and everything else.
You don't enforce Title 7.
I know,
That's the
So,
problem.
that's
The
just
road
it.
master can enforce Title 7.
correct.
The
So,
zoning officer might be able to.
no, he
but
can't either.
probably- Yeah, probably not, probably not.
The only thing he said,
Which they're not gonna do it.
the only thing he said he can do
Just take
is send them a
place of
letter
record.
and they can say yes or no. You know, so,
Do you have the name of the new owner?
all I have is Ken,
Oh, that's helpful.
who's up, and then the phone. So, but like I said, when I called and then so did Ryan, and both times just says mailbox full, thank you, and hangs up.
So there's no code section about your sight distance
I don't know off the top of my head.
in Windsor Township's code?
Because we're stuck to just being able to send them a letter, but not even knowing who the new ones will. I know the old ones won't because they moved out now, so.
And your tax parcel won't catch up for a couple months, so you can't even Google that.
So there was some little progress on that, but not much. So. Another thing to bring up was at this, one of these, LTAC classes I was at, the other day with the signs and traffic signs and everything. They said that, back in 2012, well, it was brought up in 2009, but it was supposed to be in effect by 2012. The township was supposed to have a sign ordinance for all their signs to have.
Sign inventory.
No, it's an ordinance.
We have a sign ordinance.
Do we have one?
We did.
Okay. And then the next thing was that we're supposed to have an inventory.
Paul was supposed to do an inventory.
Which I know.
That was when Paul was here.
So, I've been starting on the inventory, but I
Well,
didn't know about the ordinance.
That's one of the reasons we bought the tablet, so you could go on, basically take a picture, because that's basically what they do. They'll
Yeah.
take a picture of it, the location, the type of post that's there, the signs that are on it.
And the year, if possible, if it's chalked on the back,
Yeah.
when it was
Yeah.
installed.
Yeah.
So, I started on the inventory back when I started already, but now I just
Yeah.
gotta keep fine tuning it, because that's how I got to my list of the really bad signs and working my way through and stuff. But now that's gotta just get updated. But when they said about the sign ordinance, I didn't know if we had that. So
That's
We
to,
do.
that's good on that.
yeah, that's to cover stop signs, speed limit signs, one-ways, every sign.
Yep. Yeah, every
To
sign.
be, make sure
So,
if there is a traffic stop, that you have an ordinance.
yeah, if there's like an accident or something, they can go back and say that's an official sign.
Yep.
So, but like I said, I started the inventory, but I wasn't sure of the ordinance. And also, the new time clock is here, and the road crew started using it on the 1st of December, so. And then, when do you want the year end? You want that on the 20th? Or do you want it this week? Well, that actually says November yet.
We can talk about it.
That's all I have in.
Any other comment? Yep, all right, thank you. Yep. All right, the park, we have the LSA grant in the works.
It's in the works.
See what happens, and,
Yeah.
I heard you talk to Jeff Schlichter.
Yes, I did.
Did he mention anything about someone that does, seamless gutter on the side?
Contacted Patriot?
Patriot was one, and I
yep.
thought he was gonna give you a name
Yeah,
as well.
Patriot, yep, I have Patriot, and then I wrote down all their different costs, because you won't get the grant until next year, you know, inflated it a little bit, and like we discussed, I put it to 30,000, so that you need to have sufficient money to perform that work.
Okay, and Ben, I have these keys here.
Oh, okay.
Do we need to talk about it in executive session?
I was what you plan on for the,
Well, Dave handed the
Yeah.
keys to me,
so,
as far as, what, yeah, I'm not following what it's about.
are we doing one crossing, or are we doing multiple over at the park next year?
For what?
For everything? Are we
What, the
getting
cleaning or?
cleaning, maintenance, and stuff? And the rentals, or,
Well, Roger was still gonna
Since you were talking
take
about-
care of the rentals.
since we were talking about all that and stuff?
Yeah, well, Roger was gonna take care of the rentals, but I mean, if, I'm not getting why Dave brought his keys.
I thought you were discussing about trying to get it all as one person. Having it as one person and stuff.
Well, I haven't found anybody that's interested in doing it.
No, that's why I was
mean,
under
that's-
that impression after that last
Well,
meeting. about
Dave,
that.
we didn't discuss having one person doing this. The discussion was, is Craig was gonna take the park agreement, update that, and we talked about the issue of having a deposit for cleaning.
Since we don't have to clean
Right.
people and stuff.
Right, so I don't know what
We're
we're,
just
searching people out the back door for here.
Well, but I mean, if they have something on a Saturday and Sunday, we're gonna require Ben to come in and do it on the weekend, if he has to check it.
I'm not around on the weekends.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you gotta have backup.
No.
I mean, you can't expect them to be around every weekend. if
Oh,
they have
that's not what
functions there.
I think what the proposal was. The treasurer collects the money for the park rental, one check for that, one check for a deposit, make it significant enough that they would clean it. secretary treasurer goes and confirms it's clean and give the check, uncashed deposit check back to them. Now, the problem is,
Getting the key.
the problem is, we need a backup plan if that person decides not to clean it. I think that's what we were talking about.
I don't know, we were talking about a couple things, that's why.
So it wasn't, nothing was agreed upon yet.
No, that was still under discussion, I
Yes.
thought, too.
That's right.
What? That key there, Ben, the second key I had that blow for the one for the tires of the track. That's still, that's still in the tractor yet, on the mower.
I'll give this key
Okay,
back.
well, yeah, that's why he handed me the keys at the beginning of the meeting. I didn't understand what it was all about.
I know we were discussing stuff, so that's why.
Yeah, but nothing was decided. Okay,
And I think you have the luxury of time, because I don't think anybody's gonna rent the park right now.
no.
Get it done
Okay.
before this.
And I mean, you're still gonna have to find somebody to replace Roger. If he's only gonna do it one more year.
He said he'd do it next year.
Yeah, so. Any interest out there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any interest in helping to take care of the park?
Might be a good retirement job.
Well,
The door's open.
That's pretty non-committal, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a
well,
definite maybe.
I think what we want to do is have the renter clean the park,
Absolutely.
and then
have a
we-
backup plan.
a backup plan if someone decides to walk away. So it might be once a summer income for you. I don't know, what I'd like to see, it's not a job, it's let them clean the park.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I mean,
absolutely. People
if-
should clean up after.
sure, but if they don't clean the park,
Yes,
then
Have a backup.
somebody still has to do it.
Right.
They're not gonna get their money back. if
Is it
somebody still
possible
has
to do it on a
job.
Monday though, as opposed to a Sunday night? at
Well, it
8
depends on
o'clock?
what the schedule is. You could do, whatever the rental schedule is. And that would be coordinated through Roger. We'll keep you guys in mind.
Okay.
Awesome.
Doesn't hurt to ask, right? Any other comment? No? All right, we'll keep it moving. All right, solicitor, Mr. Farragut.
Fortunately, I don't have a lot for you that we haven't already discussed. I do have I just need signatures on the findings of fact for Hefner Road Solar. This has already been sent out because you approved it. I just didn't have actual signatures, so I'll give that to you after the meeting. That way you have one of the township records. And I'll keep one. Other than that, we don't have any conditional uses that are pending right now, which is a good thing. So I said to Craig in an email, we're back to billing at our normal rate and not, several $1,000s a month, so I think that's a good sign. So that's pretty much it.
Oh,
Quick.
wow.
Any comment?
Nope.
All right, on to old business, the burning ban. That was listed on what date?
Yeah,
It was, I think, December 3rd. The county lifted it. I just wanted it reflected in the minutes that the burn ban was lifted in Windsor Township as of the date the county ended their burn ban on December 3rd.
yeah, it was the 2nd of December.
Second, I'm sorry. So the second.
We'll just make note of it that,
Yeah.
okay, and it is posted and it's on the website
Okay.
that the burn ban no longer exists.
As we say on a day when we're having, torrential rain all day long, clearly it's not necessary right now.
Before we end the meeting.
Yes, we did.
All right, next item, Comcast. You have something about that, Jerry?
Yes, so last month, I started to go through all the expenses, and I came across 2 invoices for Comcast for the township. And I got 2 new current bills, and this one's the same as last month. One bill's $347, I think it was $349 last month, and then there's another invoice here, which last month was $270, and this month is $300. So I called Comcast to find out what the heck is going on here. I didn't know if the neighbors all had internet service on us or what. And I find that we have 5 phone lines in this building, which nobody occupies, we're paying for. TV service, fax line, which died in the 90s, internet, and voice edge, which voice edge is someone calls into the township, it gets converted to a text message and it's emailed to Craig. So we're paying $700 a month, and then we're paying 2 employees, reimbursing $30 each for cell phones. So we're at $700 a month. So we have multiple options here. We need internet service. That's $135. If we're bent on having a landline in here, that's gonna cost $60. The other option is to buy 2 cell phones, one for the roadmaster and one for the secretary, $30 a month for service, unlimited text, talk, and data, and we need to acquire the phones. So I guess the question is, do we agree that there's too much money being spent here and we need to get this thing in line?
Yeah, the cable can go, because I think when we set this whole thing up, they offered us a business package. And we thought we would use it, and I think we were committed to, what, 3 years on it? It was a 3-year agreement, I believe.
I think.
No, I think at this
But
point,
nobody
we're
ever used it
beyond
though.
that.
But nobody ever used it though, right?
No, we thought there was gonna be a need for it, but, you know, that was the package that we signed up for when it was put in.
So,
So we're beyond it, so we can change the package.
so the question is, and did not pursue it, if we can get a cell phone, I don't wanna make this disruptive, take the township phone number and assign that to a cell phone, give that cell phone to Craig. So anybody calling in can stay the same, that's an option, I'm saying that's one option. And then get Ben a company phone. And then pay $135 for internet. Or we can keep the one landline here at $60 plus fees, and then pay for that voice edge, which I don't know what that's going to cost, which converts voice messages into an email and sends.
Yeah, did you get them at all? I do get them.
I don't get those.
Yeah, when somebody calls in,
I
I
get them.
get those Comcast communications when somebody comes in and I can see who's calling.
I haven't been at it to a lot of things here, okay?
Okay.
You follow me? So what do we want to do about this?
Well, I think the voice edge is a good thing, and we still need a landline here anyway.
I think so, that's my.
Because
opinion.
eventually, if we put somebody in here,
Well, we
the
can-
phone's gonna have to
Well,
be
if eventually we can add the phone line then, okay? So as I'm saying, is there really a need to have a phone here?
I think so.
I think so.
Okay.
I want to have a landline with that, with the voice
Okay.
edge.
Because the only problem with that is if you ever tried your cell phone in here, it doesn't work in this building.
Okay. So,
That's an issue.
so, we're gonna get one landline, internet service, and that's it.
Well, I would say with the voice edge, I mean, you.
Yes,
can-
well,
we can-
that- yes, yes, yes,
Include that.
include
with
that,
it.
yes.
Now, how do you
Okay.
feel about having a township phone?
I don't know that. I don't know,
I could turn that
that was
off.
sketchy to me.
Well, it's up to you. You're the ones gonna-
Because right now, I get calls all the time, so yet.
Would you rather
even
have a
when I'm
township
not-
phone?
Even when I'm not here, because my phone's on. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm on vacation, I can turn that off.
They're still gonna call you.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna switch my number, so they don't. So,
Well, and how do you feel about
Yeah.
having another phone just
Which-
from the
yeah.
township?
You could port your number to the township.
And someone else
I
is
think I'll
here
do that, and then I'll get a new one.
my own phone.
Okay, well, that's up, you know, it's up to you. So do you
But
want
that
to
is
get
there,
one
too.
phone for Ben? A township phone, a township cell phone?
Right to know law.
Do you want to put that in the package?
Well, what do you feel about this, Ben?
Segregated.
Look,
Do you want to carry 2 phones?
I won't carry mine during the day. The only reason I carry is because if we get phone calls for work. So during the day, I don't need to carry mine. And then when I'm off on vacation, turn the township phone off.
Okay.
So,
And Craig said he'd like to keep his
Okay.
personal phone, that's why I said if you want to do one phone.
Okay. Well, I can look at and see what that's going to cost. All right.
but what carrier you're gonna get? Or are you gonna go send it down?
They were going, Comcast, this is where I got the pricing. Comcast was gonna get through Verizon.
Okay, 'cause I was gonna say,
That's
I have
gonna be
Verizon and I got coverage all over the township.
Okay,
And so I know there's a lot, like AT&T, they have a lot of dead spots in the township.
all right. I'll get the rest of that information and we'll start proceeding with that then, okay? Is that fair, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just update what we have, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. I want to talk about some of these other monthly expenses, wherever it fits the agenda, if that's now or later, I can wait.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter,
No,
okay.
doesn't matter.
So, one of the things that I'm suggesting that we do here is, there's a stack of invoices here, which does not match the monthly disbursements. There's a bunch missing here, but, I guess what I'm asking is, here's an invoice for Route 61 auto truck repair. And it's work done to the 550 dump truck.
Is that
And
the oil issue of the radiator?
and what I'm asking here is, did you get a ticket with that, Ben?
No, I don't get nothing from them.
Okay, so this bill comes in, if they add extra things to it, Craig doesn't know. You're the one that asked for the work to be done. It's my recommendation that everything that you are involved with, that you sign off and say it's okay to pay.
If I have the sheets, I do let them know what
Okay.
it's for, but if I don't have the
But
receipt.
if they didn't give you anything here,
They never,
they could have put on there, new mud flaps and we, right?
because they always email them out.
No. So I think that'd be a good accounting practice to start having these invoices signed for everything that you're involved with. To make sure we're getting charged the right one.
Yeah, well, they do. When they come in to me, if it's not paid, if it's,
So there's no signature on this one.
So, well, no, because it always comes, they always email it to him,
Okay.
so,
Alright.
but they never get signed. Because
Okay.
it's all, that's how we know the truck is done, because he gets the email, and then we know the truck's done, because they don't even call and say when the trucks are done.
But you understand,
So-
if they
so-
put on there, they put mud flaps on, and you get this bill, and you look and say, no, I didn't get any mud flaps, you need to call them and say, send me a new bill.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but I
Can we
gotta,
start
I
doing,
gotta see it though.
can we start doing that, please?
No. Craig goes and gets them to me,
Okay.
we'll work together.
So they're missing on
Well,
that.
if they email them out, have them
It's on this sheet.
carbon copy to you right away.
It just goes
Or
to
something like
township.
Oh, yeah, but if they can carbon copy it to you, that way it'll come through on your phone or your tablet or whatever, that way you'll get it the same time he gets it, just to review it.
So, some other things of concern here, I'm looking at this month, is, there's 3 invoices for electricity here. The first one's described as Main Street Power, reasons Township Buildings was $1,150.
That's street light.
right. There's a separate building for the honor roll, there's a separate building for the park, and then there's also a building for here at the township building.
Okay, so, just for my information, Main Street Power is $1,150. Is that the street lights, or?
That's, didn't we change carriers to the,
The electric that we get is all med ed.
So there's another one here for $297, that's Med Ed. And then there's another one here for street lights for $632.
Right.
So, just for my, so the honor roll up there is $300 a month. The
Not
township.
$300 a month.
It's $297 here. Well, actually, no, there's another line below, it says Park 86, so there's 3 lines right here. This one,
Main Street Power. Get the invoice, that has nothing to do with electric.
there's one invoice for the.
That's med ed.
Main Street Power.
Okay, that's okay.
This was signed by them.
Okay, but what is that then?
It's replaced defective block heater and hoses.
Okay, so this is.
Oh, that's the generator, that's for the generator work.
Okay,
The electricity is just the mid-end.
okay. And down here it says street lights.
Street lights is just literally street
Okay.
lights, and that's paid out of the state fund.
Okay, okay, all right,
Yeah, this is the guy that works on it, Jerry.
okay. All right, the other thing on this is, so that clears that up, thank you. The other thing that I don't see here is there's a large amount for system design engineering, and there's no documentation of any detail what that's being charged there. And then Russell has an invoice here, which is also no documentation.
We send invoices
I
with
know,
very
right.
detailed info.
Okay, what's not in the packet to sign
Yeah.
off on?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
We invoice monthly, right?
okay. Is it, I don't know if they're detailed, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
They're
I haven't seen them.
ours are itemized,
Yeah, everything's itemized.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's by project.
Yes,
Now, 2 of ours were paid, two months worth were paid this month because they weren't paid last month. By the time I realized it was time to send out the new set, so I just sent it over then.
all right.
I'm good.
I just like to see, if I'm gonna sign this, I like to see what I'm signing, okay?
Mhm. That's fine.
do you have those in the office?
Pardon?
Do you have,
We
Russell's and
we
mine's
get the invoices all the time.
Jerry's saying they're not in his packet.
Okay.
So all of those probably come in the mail. You
No,
probably-
listen, the reason that they're not there is because I'm making copies of some of that stuff. I will make sure that they're here all the time, that you can see them.
Thank you.
I will do that.
Okay.
Now, we do have clients that some of them get mail and some of them get emails on all the invoices. It doesn't matter to me. We can do both. So it's up to you folks. I can make that change. It's each individual client.
Mhm.
And there's a master list that the ladies follow each month on how they're dispersed. So if moving forward you want to change that to be email instead of mail, just let me know. But we will work with every client however they want those invoices to send them. And a lot of them want them emailed because of the
Wasted paper
massive
postage.
amount of paper, yes.
Yeah.
But in this case, you know, you get a hard copy, so it seems to be your system, but there's other municipalities that they do everything electronic.
Jerry, the reason that those weren't there is you were talking about our individuals billed for that. When something comes in from System Design or Russell, then some of that, then I have to make copies of those and then email it to those people. And that's why they just weren't there.
Okay,
You're emailing to the people you want to be, they're gonna reimburse the township for those particular invoices, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, then,
right.
then we bill those people with that.
That's correct.
And I make copies of all of that stuff. So I apologize that I didn't have it with it.
okay,
Any other time, if you would look through it, you'd have that stuff.
okay. All right,
All right,
good deal.
good. All right. All right, then we'll go on to new business. Tax forms for the county treasurer's office.
Craig gave me these are just the municipal tax sheets that have to be submitted. Normally, because you haven't raised taxes, since, 1986,
You haven't raised taxes since 1984.
84? I'm not gonna tell you how old I was in 1984.
You make me feel old.
I know I was paying taxes in '84.
Mhm.
You just had to sign it and and send it in. I think this year, you just have to cross out the city, township, borough, and write in the correct amount, and then sign it and send it in. The instructions don't seem to contemplate increasing taxes, but I think that, you know, whoever's gonna see this is gonna understand that the rate has gone up. But if you're not sure, call the treasurer's office and just verify with them.
Okay.
But I think that would be the way to handle it.
All right, I'm gonna throw something in under new business. I talked to Chad Phillips, and he is interested in being our representative on the Hamburg Municipal Authority. And he's got a very good background in it. He's been working in the industries since he was 25. He knows about turbidity meters, CL17s, all that stuff. So he's gonna be an asset to them and us as well. And this was the guy that Dave Fink recommended. Well, he kind of recruited him 3 years ago, but then Dave he stuck it out. He stayed with it. And Chad never heard anything, so he was kind of surprised when he got the phone call from me, but they kept his name. And it'll work out good for him. Like I said, he's been in the industry
That's an
all
asset.
his life. Yeah, so
Big
it'll
time
be,
asset.
I think it'll be a real good asset. And here's a copy of the, what they're gonna have as minutes at their next Wednesday's meeting. It was passed unanimously by the other board members on the municipal authority to allow somebody on from Windsor Township.
Because I emailed Ty, so they did put that on their agenda.
Well, I had Tony type this up for me
Okay,
today so I could bring it to the meeting.
excellent.
It's not really official, but that's what's gonna be in their minutes
Wonderful.
next Wednesday.
Chad Phillips.
Yep, Chad Phillips. So, and I don't think we need a motion for that because they'll be,
They're appointing.
yeah, they're appointing him.
Yeah.
So, but he's planning on being at the meeting next Wednesday.
Awesome. That's the 18th, right?
Yeah, I had asked George Rogowski about it, and he was willing to do it, but with his work schedule, they moved the meetings from 7 in the evening to 5 in the evening.
Oh, they've moved it now.
Yeah, it's at 5 o'clock, so, because everybody's there, they don't have to hang around for 2 hours and wait for the meeting to start. So it didn't work with George's work schedule. So we went to the next option, and Chad was it.
Awesome.
Right?
Yay.
And they're all good with it, so that's all that matters. All right, other concerns. We have the budget meeting on the 26th of December at 3:30 here in the building. January 6th is a reorganization meeting at 7 o'clock here in the building.
And I will be here. Do you need Russell?
I'm always here.
Yeah,
for
he's
you.
all,
You're always
yeah,
here.
Tom was usually the one that never showed up. He was, because he was jumping all
He's
over the
jumping,
place.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we always had somebody like Chip or,
Chip was.
yeah, Chip used to come up.
And then,
I'll be here because of the rates.
Okay.
and for the December 26th, I'll be on Zoom. for that meeting.
Okay.
I don't need to attend the December 26th.
No.
I have a question about that meeting. So, I kind of asked this before, and it's kind of foreign to me how this operates here, okay? In any business I worked in, when you set a budget, you say what you plan on spending for various projects, and if there's any capital improvements of equipment or anything, that is put in a plan. So, nothing's been mentioned, so there's no plan to buy anything this coming year? Or the next year, or 3 years out, or?
Well, unless
Is
we're
there-
gonna see what happens with the grants. I mean, eventually we may need to put that in the plan. But I mean, we just, we got the trucks all worked on and fixed and that stuff,
Okay.
and it was a lot cheaper doing it that way than having to buy a vehicle. I mean, they're in a harsh environment. It's tough on equipment.
And you use the American Rescue money for your other road project.
Right.
As
In
you call it,
in
you
our
wanna trade
budget,
the
we
two, right?
always had a reserve. And the philosophy always was if there would be something of a need would come up, then we'd have that money. That money is just there, and it's just by motion that money could be used.
Okay.
And
And
I
that
think
was
that, is that $350,000?
$350,000, yeah.
Mhm.
It's our rainy day fund.
Okay, so there's no pressing need of anything is what you're saying, only if it's an emergency.
It's there for an emergency, but if you're gonna,
Okay.
if you're gonna
And
planning to
that,
buy
that can be
something-
moved just by the action of the board.
Okay,
So that was just always put there for a backup.
all right, so that we're gonna stay that way, is what you're saying, that we're not gonna, there's no, Ben doesn't have a need that he needs another truck or a backhoe or anything of that nature. I don't wanna come up February and say, hey, I wanna go buy a backhoe now.
Why not?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you were gonna say that now, don't wait till February to say that, okay? That's my point.
We're gonna go for a grant for the truck.
Yeah.
We're not buying it, we have to go for a grant.
I think if you want. if you
And I don't wanna
capital-
spend the money, I'm not saying I wanna spend the money, I'm just saying is, don't come up in February, I saw a backhoe down there with a red bow on I want, okay? You know,
If you want a capital improvements plan, you probably have to start it sooner than November for the following year. So you're not wrong to say that that could be an objective, but I think it's a little late now for 2025.
okay, but I hear you, but there's, nobody has any pressing needs, is what I'm hearing.
As far as equipment goes,
Uh,
we're in pretty good shape. The only thing that we had talked about in the past,
Okay.
we talked about in the past, getting rid of maybe the grader and that stuff and then replacing that with something. You know, using that money
Okay.
and put it towards whatever else,
Yeah.
whatever other piece of equipment we're looking at. That it?
Yeah.
One other thing for you, Ben, Mike can't get those lights for the sign outside. It's an odd length, and he can't find them anywhere, so he had suggested, just get LED strips and put them on the inside, strip lights.
Oh,
You have an outlet in there, is that, or how are you getting electricity into it?
he was gonna tie into the light pole right there, the box is right there.
Okay, so it's
So
close
that-
enough that he can tie in?
Yeah, it's 20 feet away.
Yeah.
So that way it would come on at,
When the
well,
lights
it's
come on.
energized at 4 PM, like when those go on, and then 12:30, I think it is, when these go off, it would go off. So
Okay.
it'd be tied in, so that way we wouldn't have to put another eye out there
Mhm.
or anything, it would all come with the same.
They're tied in with the building
Yeah.
lights. Yeah, that'll work, but it's like, yeah, he can't find that length bulb, so he said maybe just put strip lights, LED strips in it, if you can work that out. And he said it'd be a lot cheaper that way too.
Yeah, well, that's what we were trying to do with the LEDs to get away from the ballast, but
Yeah,
I know he had said before, he's like, they make everything but that side, they make longer and they make shorter, but he couldn't find that side. So,
yeah, I know even the 4-foot lights, you can get like 45 and 13/16 of
Yeah.
an inch long bulbs and that stuff, but these are, what, 5 foot?
62.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, that you have to do another option because you said you can't find them. All right. All right, any other comments?
I only have one question. Craig, did you get a chance to look up that unclaimed property?
No, I did not.
Okay. The Pennsylvania unclaimed property website has 2 listings for the township. And I don't know what it is. One's over $100, one's less than $100.
The way you're gonna find out is by submitting. We do this all the time for estates we handle, and we usually don't know until after we submit the claim.
Okay.
They don't have a property UPI number that you can track to the tax person?
No, on claim property usually.
Or was that at the convention? Did you talk with that person?
No, I
over
saw
there?
one of the emails come out, daily emails from the association. I just clicked on it, saw the
Is it for Windsor Township?
Yes.
If you send me the information, I can have one of my paralegals, who does this all the time, fill out the paperwork for the township.
Hey, just go to the unclaimed property website and type in Windsor Township. I don't know what I can send you.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I'm saying, that's all there is.
Yeah.
You can type your own name and find something, or
Yeah.
Windsor Township, right? You might have millions of dollars you don't know about, right?
Do you want to do that, Craig, or and if you have trouble, let me know?
I can do that.
Yeah.
All right, any other concerns? Nope. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the bills. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any reason to go in executive session?
I don't know.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry
Have a nice holiday.